Boyfriend on Demand. Episodes are already uploaded on the channel. The link is available in the description. If you haven't watched it yet, please do. Now let's begin with the next episodes of this trending drama. Episode 6 begins, and we see that Mi-rae is very excited to meet her perfect match. She has answered all the system's questions, and now she steps onto that fantasy road where her dream boyfriend is waiting for her. As she moves forward, a boy who looks like someone named Kyeong-nam appears in front of her. Mi-rae's dating manager makes it clear that this character is not a random change. This is the very perfect boyfriend that the system has specially created for Mi-rae. Here, the rule of no returns allowed applies. Hearing this, Mi-rae gets scared. She immediately takes off her ring and returns to the real world to find a solution. Even after returning to the real world, Mi-rae remains completely confused. At the office, she keeps looking toward Kyeong-nam and wonders if he might truly be the perfect man she has been looking for. Even during a work meeting, she observes Kyeong-nam closely for the first time. Gradually, she starts liking certain aspects of his personality and appearance. At the same time, she also realizes that good people are often already in a relationship. Still, instead of thinking directly about Kyeong-nam, Mi-rae decides to move forward with her custom relationship with Yeong-il in the virtual world. In the virtual world, the two go to a bar where they drink cocktails. Mr. Q is also seen there as a bartender, and Yeong-il's personality is quite free-spirited. He is a bit of a bad boy, but also caring, meaning he shows a mix of both bad boy and nice guy. Still, the question remains, is he truly Mi-rae's ideal partner? Back at the office, Mi-rae notices that seeing Kyeong-nam doesn't create any special excitement in her heart. She tells herself that perhaps it's because Kyeong-nam has a completely different personality. Meanwhile, the director calls both Kyeong-nam and Mi-rae into his office. He informs them that Ivany is going to do an appliance commercial. This makes the situation a little awkward because Mi-rae hasn't yet told Yoon-sung about this. But the real reason for the director's summons is something else. He tells them that both of them will need to attend the BC of Awards. This is a major award show in the webtoon industry. As they leave the office, Kyeong-nam tells Mi-rae not to keep such distance from him because rejection wasn't easy for him either. Then the award ceremony begins. Yoon-sung receives the popularity award, while Hwani wins the Best Work award for his webtoon Plan C. But Yoon-sung is not happy about this. She feels like she has come in second place compared to Hwani. In anger, she goes outside and starts arguing with him. During the argument, she accidentally pushes Mi-rae. At that very moment, Kyeong-nam catches her. Fireworks are going off in the background, but no romantic feeling stirs in Mi-rae's heart. Later, during the celebration dinner, Yoon-sung lashes out at Hwani again. She says that he used to leave small gifts outside her door and then run toward the basement. But the reality is something else entirely. Hwani's interest was not in Yoon-sung but in her assistant So Young. Hearing this, Yoon-sung feels quite embarrassed. She says that she has a boyfriend and the others take it casually. In fact, she really does have a boyfriend whose name is Jong. That same night, he calls when Mi-rae is dropping Yoon-sung home. Mi-rae picks up the call and informs him that Yoon-sung has arrived home safely. Ji-jong thanks her for taking care of her. Meanwhile, Mi-rae herself is quite drunk. She wanders toward the beach and sits there drinking beer. At that moment, Yeong-il calls and asks if they can meet. Mi-rae laughingly brushes it off as a joke but continues talking on the phone. Just then, Kyeong-nam suddenly appears in front of her. But Mi-rae thinks it is Yeong-il. Smiling, she moves forward and reaches out to touch his face. Episode 7 begins with an office scene. Here we see that Kyeong-nam is watching Mi-rae from a distance and clearly understands that she is very distracted today. But this time, the story is shown in a slightly different way. All the events that had happened until now are now shown from Kyeong-nam's perspective. In reality, for the past several days, many strange yet amusing coincidences had been happening between the two, bumping into each other in the elevator, exchanging gifts during Secret Santa. These small moments had gradually brought them closer to each other. Now, the story returns to the same moment where the last episode ended. The two are heading back toward the hotel after the award ceremony. On the way, Kyeong-nam asks some direct and slightly blunt questions. There is actually a reason behind this. He had earlier overheard a conversation between Yoon-sung and Mi-rae, in which Mi-rae was saying she doesn't have a boyfriend. The morning after the award show, Yoon-sung is in pretty bad shape due to a hangover. She asks Mi-rae to accompany her to the airport. Because of this, Mi-rae is unable to spend time with the team at the beach. The rest of the team is having fun at the beach, but Kyeong-nam feels a little disappointed because he had wanted Mi-rae to be there too. Meanwhile, Mi-rae returns home and once again enters the virtual world of Boyfriend on Demand. She begins enjoying new dates and fantasy moments with Yeong-il, but gradually, confusion starts growing in her mind. She finds it difficult to differentiate between Yeong-il and Kyeong-nam. The images of both seem to blur together in her mind. After an awkward moment at the office, Mi-rae decides to keep her distance from Kyeong-nam. But this decision doesn't last long. One day she thinks she will confidently stand before him, but as she moves forward, she accidentally walks into a glass wall. A big bump appears on her head. In her hurry to leave the office, she leaves her earring behind. Kyeong-nam sees it and quietly picks it up. The next day, Mi-rae gets new bangs to hide the bump on her head. But Kyeong-nam and the others immediately figure out that she's injured. This moment brings a little ease back between the two. Meanwhile, another problem arises in the webtoon rankings. Hwani's webtoon has now overtaken Yeonsong. After winning the award, his popularity has grown significantly. Yeonsong becomes very distressed by this. The director is also worried and tells Mi-rae to come up with a plan that can boost Yeonsong's coin sales again. In fact, Yeonsong's contract is also about to expire soon. If her popularity doesn't recover, the company might not renew it. Hearing all this, Yeonsong becomes completely disheartened. She feels like her career is over. Then Mi-rae encourages her and the two go out together for dinner. But coincidentally, they end up at the same restaurant where Hwani and Kyeong-nam are already present. Initially, the atmosphere is a bit awkward, but then Yeonsong jokingly invites So-young as well. Hwani starts trying to impress her in front of everyone, and the whole atmosphere becomes light and fun. After dinner, Kyeong-nam and Mi-rae stand outside and talk. Kyeong-nam says that they should now be honest with each other. Then Mi-rae finally tells the truth that she is single. Hearing this, Kyeong-nam takes a bold step. He directly tells Mi-rae that he wants to show her how much he cares for her. Episode 8 begins from the same moment where the last episode ended. Kyeong-nam standing outside tells Mi-rae that he wants to show her what he feels for her. But just then, they are called back inside. Inside, during the conversation, Hwani reveals an interesting detail. He says that Kyeong-nam used to do art back in college. Hearing this, Mi-rae is a little surprised, because she had always wanted a partner who was interested in art. The night gradually progresses. At one point, Mi-rae needs to charge her phone and sits down next to Kyeong-nam. At that moment, when Kyeong-nam lightly touches her head, Mi-rae's heart starts beating faster. Now Mi-rae starts seeing Kyeong-nam everywhere. Even at the office, her behavior changes a little. He rides the elevator with her, talks to her warmly, gives her compliments, and even buys her favorite coffee for her. Kyeong-nam's changed behavior begins to touch Mi-rae from within. He also sends her a good night message. But at the office, Mi-rae can't concentrate on her work at all. Even while sitting with Yeonsong, she keeps drifting away and can't focus on her work. Meanwhile, Jeong also gets a boyfriend-on-demand headset for herself. She too meets a boy in the virtual world who genuinely takes interest in her. He even sings a song for her. Then comes Christmas Eve. Mi-rae has to stay back at the office because she has to wait for Yeonsong's webtoon episode to be uploaded. Kyeong-nam stays back with her too. Together they enjoy the Christmas atmosphere. Standing outside, they openly talk about their feelings. Kyeong-nam reveals that his confident behavior is just a facade for work in reality. He too is going through many difficulties. Before leaving, he gives her a Christmas card and says to read it later. When Mi-rae gets home and reads the card, she finds that Kyeong-nam has invited her to dinner, just the two of them. Reading this, Mi-rae falls into deep thought. She starts thinking about her future and whether she truly wants to be with Yeong-il. After Christmas, there is a year-end presentation for the entire department at the office. During this meeting, when competition is brought up, there is a hidden message in the conversation. Mi-rae indirectly tells Kyeong-nam that her feelings will not change. But deep down, Mi-rae has now realized that her heart had always been beating for Kyeong-nam. She had been lying to herself for a long time. In truth, she was afraid that if she listened to her heart and Kyeong-nam's feelings later changed, she would have to go through the pain of heartbreak again. Because of this very fear, Mi-rae decides to give up before even trying. Sometime later, the director makes a big announcement. The company is now going to step into the American web market. The best team from Korea will be sent there, and the director himself is going to lead the project. After the meeting ends, everyone starts heading home. By chance, Mi-rae and Kyeong-nam end up in the same taxi. When Kyeong-nam tries to give her his umbrella, Mi-rae refuses. This time, Kyeong-nam directly asks her why she is making such a big issue out of such a small thing. During the conversation, Mi-rae tells the truth. She says that all of this is not easy for her. Whenever Kyeong-nam comes close, her heart wavers. She says that right now she doesn't have a clear answer for anything. She also says that maybe she could be in a relationship, but she feels that every beginning has an ending, and people change with time. To this, Kyeong-nam responds that not every change is bad. He says that he himself has changed, and he changed because he has fallen in love with Mi-rae. After saying this, Kyeong-nam pauses for a moment, then gathers his courage, leans forward, and tries to kiss Mi-rae. Episode 9 begins from where the last episode ended. Kyeong-nam finally kisses Mi-rae. After the kiss, there is a slightly awkward silence between the two. But to lighten the mood, Kyeong-nam gives her a ticket to an art exhibition and says he hopes they'll go together. On the day of the exhibition, Kyeong-nam waits for her while looking at the paintings. After some time, he starts feeling that maybe Mi-rae won't come. He begins heading towards the exit with a little disappointment. Just then, he spots Mi-rae coming from across the road. She has arrived a little late, but she walks towards him with a smile. The two walk together, and this time they hold each other's hand. After the exhibition, they go to watch a scary movie together. The whole day turns out to be quite wonderful for them, and gradually their dating grows deeper. Now Mi-rae begins slowly bringing down the walls around her heart. This is also visible at the office. One day in the elevator, the two quietly hold each other's hand, and a soft smile appears on both their faces. Meanwhile, Ji-yeon has also made considerable progress in the virtual world of Boyfriend on Demand. Her confidence grows so much that even her dating manager sometimes gets overwhelmed by her speeches. Ji-yeon goes through dates rapidly in different scenarios and writes about the entire experience in an article. Her online nickname is Boyfriend Killer. The article becomes quite popular online and gets more than 100 views. Meanwhile, Mi-rae and Kyeong-nam's relationship also becomes sweeter and sweeter. Kyeong-nam starts affectionately calling her cutie. But amid all this happiness, work responsibilities remain. Mi-rae still has to manage Yoon-sung's webtoon popularity. The real problem is that Yoon-sung herself has become far too entangled in the Boyfriend on Demand game. She starts spending so much time with her virtual boyfriend that she begins ignoring her work and deadlines. That was also why she had taken a long break from work earlier. One day, a Boyfriend on Demand advertisement comes on the TV at the office. Seeing it, Kyeong-nam jokingly says that no sensible woman would make the mistake of getting caught up in such a game. Hearing this, Mi-rae stays quiet because she herself is using the game. That same night, Hwani uploads his webtoon early. The other writers take Kyeong-nam out for drinks. A little later, Kyeong-nam returns to the office and meets Mi-rae. There is a small sweet moment between them, and then they part ways for the night. After they leave, there is a change in the webtoon rankings and Yoon-sung's webtoon reaches the top position again. But Yoon-sung's focus is no longer what it used to be. She is slowly getting more and more lost in her digital world. Around this time, Ji-yeon's articles also gain a lot of attention. Her reviews are so detailed that many women start using them as guides. This news reaches Min Jun-young as well. He starts worrying that if people quickly explore all virtual partners, the app's customers could decrease. In fact, Ji-yeon has already met nearly 200 virtual boyfriends in just 2 months. But now another major problem surfaces. Yoon-sung's webtoon, The Man to Know, gets accused of plagiarism. People believe that her webtoon's main character, Si-woo, closely resembles the characters from Boyfriend on Demand. The news spreads quickly. Criticism of Boyfriend on Demand starts on social media and news channels. People begin commenting against the app, and Yoon-sung's fans are also very angry. In the middle of all this chaos, Mi-rae quickly messages Kyeong-nam and requests him to go to the office, pick up her used Palm drive, and check some files. Kyeong-nam agrees to help her and arrives at the office. Meanwhile, Mi-rae suddenly remembers that her used drive also contains Boyfriend on Demand login records, which clearly show that she has spent more than 50 hours in the game. Thinking about this, Mi-rae panics and rushes home. By then, it is too late. Kyeong-nam has already arrived there and has also found Mi-rae's headset. There is also a folder on the Useem named Review. Still, he acts as if he hasn't noticed anything particularly significant. He casually hugs Mi-rae and behaves normally, but Mi-rae remains fearful. That night, Kyeong-nam can't sleep. He is sitting in Mi-rae's apartment and gets up after a while to get a drink. There, he notices some photos of Mi-rae, and then suddenly he also receives a video message from Yeong-il. Out of curiosity, he puts on the Boyfriend on Demand headset. Within moments, he finds himself in the virtual world, entering the game as Mi-rae's avatar, and standing before him is Yeong-il, the very virtual boyfriend who looks exactly like Kyeong-nam. Episode 10 begins after a strange dream. Mi-rae suddenly wakes up and feels that everything is a bit tangled. Meanwhile, Kyeong-nam's behavior toward her has turned cold. In fact, he still remembers everything he saw in the Boyfriend on Demand game, where he had come face to face with Yeong-il. He had also found out that Mi-rae's game subscription is about to expire soon. The two had previously promised each other that they would always tell the truth, but now Mi-rae is trying to avoid telling it. Kyeong-nam is a straightforward person. He asks her directly, without beating around the bush, that she had logged into the game and he had seen Yeong-il there. Hearing this, the atmosphere between them becomes even more awkward. Meanwhile, another major problem arises at the company following the controversy involving Mr. Cohen Boyfriend on Demand. The company has fired Yoon-song. When Yoon-song finds out, she storms into the office in anger and starts arguing directly with the director. The argument escalates so much that chaos breaks out in the office. During this, Si-woo's large cardboard cutout falls, and in the commotion, Mi-rae's finger gets cut. When she is getting treated in the first aid room, Kyeong-nam arrives. But he is still a little distant because he is troubled by the Boyfriend on Demand situation. Mi-rae wonders whether to message him or not. She recalls what Jae-yeon had said, that in dating, you shouldn't get swept up in emotions too quickly. Meanwhile, Kyeong-nam is also quite conflicted. He goes to dinner with Hwani and talks to him about Mi-rae. In the meantime, Mi-rae starts receiving messages from Yeong-il again because she has renewed her subscription. She logs into the game and talks to Yeong-il, asking him what he had told Kyeong-nam. The next day at the office, both Mi-rae and Kyeong-nam feel a little uneasy around each other. During this time, Yoon-song is also secretly trying to remove her Boyfriend on Demand headset. A little later, Mi-rae gathers courage and goes to speak with director Hwang. She says that Yoon-song is the company's biggest creator and firing her completely would not be right. After much debate, the director changes his decision slightly. Instead of firing Yoon-song, he sends her on a temporary suspension. After this, Mi-rae decides to toughen herself up a bit. She thinks that she will no longer let her heart become too weak. Meanwhile, Kyeong-nam also gradually begins to understand that Boyfriend on Demand is not such a big issue after all. Hwani explains to him that a virtual boyfriend can never take the place of a real person. Hearing his words, Kyeong-nam realizes his mistake. He immediately rushes toward the coffee shop where Mi-rae is sitting to meet her. Arriving there, he says clearly that he wants to be with her and wants to follow his heart. When he hugs Mi-rae and holds her hand, her heart starts beating fast again. She understands that this is where true happiness lies. Meanwhile, a funny incident also occurs. Mr. Jun-young decides to invite Ji-yeon to the company to help improve the game. But as soon as he meets Ji-yeon, he is instantly impressed by her at first sight. His behavior becomes a little strange and flustered, which further boosts Ji-yeon's confidence. Meanwhile, Mi-rae and Kyeong-nam's relationship gets back on track. One day, the two are talking secretly in the storage room, but suddenly it sounds like someone is coming. In a panic, Mi-rae gives him a light push and a nearby shelf falls on top of him. Kyeong-nam gets injured. Seeing this, Mi-rae panics and he is immediately taken to the hospital. Dongmin is already there. He quickly understands that the two like each other, so he leaves them alone. Mi-rae, in tears, holds his hand and apologizes because Kyeong-nam's hand has been broken. Later, the two sit outside the hospital and talk openly. Mi-rae admits that she had gone back to see Yeong-il because she was afraid that a real relationship might not last. Kyeong-nam also tells the truth that he falls a little more in love with her every day and that very thing also frightens him, but he does not want to run away from this fear. He says that having uncertainty in love is what makes it beautiful. These words touch Mi-rae's heart deeply. Finally, she too decides that she will now follow her heart. After this, all the misunderstandings gradually begin to clear up. The director's farewell night also ends in a peaceful atmosphere, and Yoon-song also tries to mend her relationship. At the end, Mi-rae enters the virtual world of Boyfriend on Demand one last time. She says goodbye to Yeong-il and ends her virtual relationship there and then. Now she has decided that she will live her real life and move forward on the path her heart has chosen. Thank you for watching.